It's funny how the beginning of the end doesn't feel big when it first happens. There's no explosion, no screaming, no slammed doors. Sometimes it's just a glance, a breath caught the wrong way, a laugh that wasn't meant for you. For me, it was the grocery store. Frozen foods aisle. Tuesday night. Megan was standing a few steps ahead of me, pretending to compare two brands of waffles. I watched her out of habit, not really thinking about it, until she pulled out her phone and smiled. Not just any smile either. That soft, private kind. The kind you save for something or someone that stirs something in you. I didn't say anything. Just watched as she slid her phone back into her purse real fast, like it might burn her if I got too close. "These are fine, right?" she asked, holding up a box without really looking at me. "Yeah," I said, voice tight. We moved on, loading the cart, making small talk about weekend plans and what bills needed paying. On the surface, everything stayed normal. But under it, I felt something twist. Like a screw in the foundation just shifted, and nobody heard it but me. On the drive home, Megan tapped away on her phone again, thumbs moving fast. Her face kept lighting up every time a message came through. She laughed once, catching herself, biting it back. "You good?" I asked, trying to keep it light. "Yeah," she said, shoving the phone into her bag like it owed her money. Work stuff. Work stuff. At 7:45 p.m. on a Tuesday. With a smile you can't fake even if you try. I gripped the steering wheel harder, feeling the texture of the leather dig into my palms. The radio was playing some dumb pop song, too loud, but neither of us bothered to turn it down. At home, we unpacked the groceries in silence. Megan started talking about joining a new group fitness class at her job. "I think it'll be good," she said, her voice too bright, too rehearsed. "You know, help me stay motivated. Plus, a bunch of us girls are doing it." I nodded, pretending I wasn't clocking every word. I wasn't some jealous idiot. I never had been. Megan always had friends. She had guy friends, too. I never once flinched. But this felt different. This had a smell to it. A rot I couldn't name yet, but it was there. Later that night, after dinner and dishes and half watching some Netflix show we both pretended to enjoy, we climbed into bed. Megan was out cold within minutes, back turned toward me. I lay there staring up at the ceiling, the blue light from my phone screen bouncing off the walls. Nothing was confirmed. There were no texts I'd seen. No lipstick on collars. Just a damn smile over a frozen waffle and a phone she couldn't seem to put down. I told myself I was being paranoid. Work had been stressful. I hadn't exactly been the most exciting husband lately. Maybe I was reading into things because I felt disconnected. But deep down, in that place you can't lie to yourself, I already knew. Something between us had shifted. Not a fight. Not a slow drift. A crack. And once a crack starts, it only runs deeper. I remember the early days, how she used to look at me like I was the whole room. How her laughter was loud and easy around me, not hidden behind a screen. I thought about the last few months. How she'd started dressing up more for work but came home looking tired and hollow. How she started working late, just to finish some projects, even when I knew her boss barely cared what time anyone left. Little things. Small lies you don't call out because you want to believe in the person saying them. I thought about the way she used to reach for my hand without thinking. How now, every touch felt planned, cautious, like she was checking a box. I shifted onto my side, facing her back. She slept so peacefully, unaware of the storm starting inside me. And right there in the dark, it hit me. This wasn't going to be a conversation. This wasn't something a weekend getaway could fix. This was the start of something breaking wide open. And if I didn't find out the truth soon, it was going to swallow me whole. The next morning, Megan was already gone before I got up. Left a sticky note on the counter. "Meeting ran late. Love you." Little heart drawn next to it. I tossed it straight into the trash. At work, I couldn't focus. Every time my phone buzzed, every time a coworker laughed 2 desks away, I thought about her smiling at some screen, sharing jokes meant for someone else. By the time I got home, the decision was already made. No more waiting. No more guessing. That night, Megan claimed she was wiped out and headed upstairs to bed early. I waited 30 minutes, long enough to hear her breathing settle into the slow, even rhythm of real sleep. Then I went into the kitchen, grabbed her purse off the counter, and pulled out her phone. Locked, of course. Different passcode than the one I used to know. For a second, I just stood there, staring at the screen. Then I punched in her birthday. Wrong. I tried our anniversary date. Wrong again. Finally, I entered the name of the goddamn fitness program she wouldn't shut up about. Unlocked. Messages popped up instantly, a flood of them. Not from coworkers. Not from girlfriends. One name, over and over. Zach. I didn't recognize it. No last name. No context. But the tone was clear enough. Can't stop thinking about last night. You looked so damn good today, couldn't keep my eyes off you. Wish you were here instead of him. Photo attachments. Nothing graphic, just enough. A picture of her legs curled up on some hotel couch. Her bare feet with a glass of wine balanced on her knee. Familiar tattoos. Familiar carpet. A Marriott downtown. We'd stayed there once. Anniversary trip. She must have booked the same place on purpose. I scrolled deeper. Weeks worth of messages. Planning. Flirting. Regrets swallowed up by excitement. Plans to sneak away for lunch. Plans for overnight meetings. The worst was how casual it all was. No guilt. No struggle. Just a game they both enjoyed playing. At the bottom of one thread, he wrote, "You sure he's not suspicious?" Megan replied, "LOL, he's clueless. He's so wrapped up in work he barely notices when I'm around." I stood there for a long time, phone burning in my hand. Not angry yet. Not sad. Just hollow. Like someone scooped my insides out with an ice cream scoop and left nothing but a shell. I set the phone back exactly where I found it. Didn't say a word when she came downstairs the next morning, dressed for work in that navy blouse she used to save for special meetings. She kissed my cheek, barely, and grabbed her coffee to go. "Big day," she said, flashing a bright smile. "Wish me luck." I watched her drive off, watched the taillights vanish down the street, and knew luck had nothing to do with it. For the next few days, I played it cool, smiled when I needed to, asked about her meetings, offered to pick up takeout when she said she was too tired to cook. I let her build her house of lies brick by brick, watched her lay the mortar, shape the walls. I even laughed with her once or twice. It felt like sitting across from a stranger wearing my wife's skin. I started tracking things. Simple things, nothing crazy. Mileage on her car. Receipts left in coat pockets. Calendar reminders she forgot to delete. One Friday afternoon, her car wasn't in the work parking lot when I drove by. It wasn't at the gym either. It was at the Marriott. Same one from the photos. Parked right out front like she didn't have a care in the world. I sat across the street in a beat-up old diner, drinking burnt coffee, waiting. 2 hours later, she came out. Laughing. Arm hooked through a man's. He wasn't tall. Wasn't anything special. Wore khakis like he thought they made him important. They kissed before they got to her car. Not a quick, guilty kiss either. The kind you give someone when you're sure you're allowed to want them. When Megan pulled away from him, I saw her smile. The same one she used to save for me 100 years ago. I didn't follow her. Didn't blow up her phone. Didn't storm into the hotel lobby screaming like a jackass. I finished my coffee. Left a 5 on the table. Drove home. When she walked through the door 3 hours later, she smelled like cheap hotel soap and vanilla body spray. She flopped onto the couch, kicked off her heels, and sighed like the day had worn her out. "You okay?" she asked, noticing me staring. I nodded. Smiled a little. "Yeah, just thinking." "About what?" she asked, fake casual. I shrugged. How sometimes you don't really know a person at all. She froze for a half second, long enough for me to see the gears turning behind her eyes. Then she laughed. Shook her head. "You're so weird sometimes," she said, grabbing the remote. I went upstairs and locked the bathroom door. Not to cry. Not to scream. Just to sit on the edge of the tub with my head in my hands, breathing, letting the full weight of it settle in. My marriage wasn't shaky. It wasn't troubled. It was over. She just hadn't figured that out yet. But I had. And now it was only a matter of time. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed next to her, staring at the ceiling, listening to her breathe. She mumbled once in her sleep, said a name I didn't recognize. Maybe it was him. Maybe it wasn't. Didn't matter anymore. Sometime around 4 a.m., I got up, careful not to wake her, and sat on the back porch. The air was cool, damp. The kind of cold that seeps into your skin no matter how many layers you're wearing. I didn't cry. Didn't scream or punch walls. None of that movie shit. I just sat there, feeling the weight of it. 9 years. 9 years of bills, birthdays, late-night talks, inside jokes, little rituals only we knew. 9 years, crumpled up and tossed away like a fast food wrapper. The thing that gutted me most wasn't the cheating. It was how easily she lied. How easily she moved through the world, smiling and pretending, while dragging me behind her like a dog on a short leash. I thought about all the times I defended her. To friends who joked she was out of my league. To coworkers who teased me for whipped. To my own family, when my brother warned me years ago, she's not the type to settle easy. I thought I was the exception, the man she chose, the man who mattered. Turns out, I was just the man who made it easy. When the sun finally came up, Megan stirred inside the house. I could hear her padding around the kitchen, singing under her breath. I stayed outside. I didn't want to see her face. Not yet. Around noon, she came out onto the porch. "There you are," she said, leaning against the doorframe. "You've been out here all morning?" I nodded. "You okay?" I looked at her. Really looked at her. Her hair was a mess. No makeup. Still in pajamas. She looked comfortable. At home. How strange, I thought. How someone can destroy you and not even feel a ripple. "I'm fine," I said. "You sure? You've been weird lately." I smiled. A real one, this time. Small, sharp. "You have no idea." She laughed, shook her head, went back inside. The next few days blurred together. I went to work. Came home. Ate dinner with her. Slept in the same bed. But something inside me was gone. Something permanent. I didn't reach for her at night. I didn't kiss her goodbye in the morning. She noticed. Of course she noticed. One evening, she tried to fix it. Cooked my favorite dinner. Wore that black dress she knew I liked. Poured 2 glasses of wine. I sat across from her at the table, eating slowly, watching her put on the show. She laughed too hard at her own jokes. She kept touching my hand across the table. She tilted her head in that fake flirty way she used to do when she wanted something. It was like watching a bad actress trying to play a role she hadn't rehearsed enough. After dinner, she led me to the couch, curled up next to me like she used to. "We've been off lately," she said softly, tracing circles on my wrist with her finger. "I miss you." I stared at the TV screen, not seeing whatever dumb sitcom was playing. "I'm still here," I said. She kissed my neck. "I know, but it feels like you're somewhere else." I turned to look at her. "What would you do if I was?" She blinked, thrown off by the question. I'd fight for us," she said quickly. Too quickly. "I love you." The words hit the air between us and just hung there, limp. She didn't mean them. Not really. She meant she loved the version of me that didn't notice the lies. She loved the comfort, the security. Not me. I stood up, walked to the kitchen, poured myself another drink. Behind me, Megan sat frozen on the couch, sensing, maybe for the first time, that something real had shifted. The next night, she worked late again. I didn't follow. Didn't check her phone. Didn't care. When she came home, tiptoeing like a teenager past curfew, I stayed sitting in the dark living room, watching her. She froze when she saw me. "Hey," she said, voice too high, too careful. "You scared me." "Good." She shifted awkwardly, setting her purse down. "I'm exhausted," she said. "Big presentation tomorrow." I nodded slowly. "Big day." She gave me a quick, tight smile and headed upstairs. I stayed downstairs until I heard the shower start. Later, when I climbed into bed, she reached for me in the dark, slipping her hand across my chest. I let her lay there, pretending. Let her wrap herself around a man she didn't know had already left her 100 times over in his mind. Because that's the thing about betrayal, the real damage isn't the act itself. It's the quiet afterward. The unbearable silence of knowing you can never go back to being stupid enough to believe in them. The next morning, I woke up early. I packed a bag while she slept. Just a few things, essentials. Enough to leave if I decided not to come back. I stared at her sleeping face one last time. Peaceful. Unbothered. Like a kid after a long day playing pretend. I zipped the bag closed. Walked out the door without making a sound. Drove around for hours, no destination in mind. Ended up at a shitty diner off the highway, the kind with cracked vinyl booths and coffee that tastes like burnt socks. Perfect. I sat there, staring out the window at the cars rushing past, wondering how the hell I got here. How marriage turns into a prison cell without you even noticing the walls going up. How a woman who used to light up when you walked into a room could end up hiding smiles for someone else. How you can spend years building something that collapses in a matter of days. I didn't have answers. Still don't. But I knew this. I couldn't live like this anymore. Not a day longer. And when I finally walked back into that house, whenever that was, it wouldn't be as the man who begged for scraps. It would be as the man who decided he was done starving. I didn't go back home that night. I drove to a cheap motel on the edge of town, the kind of place nobody looks twice at. Paid in cash. Took a room with a stained carpet and a rattling air conditioner and a bed that smelled like bleach. It was perfect. I sat there for a long time, staring at the ceiling, feeling the final pieces of whatever I used to be snap off and fall away. No more trying to fix it. No more looking for explanations. It was over. The only thing left was to decide what came next. I slept a few hours, the dead kind of sleep, no dreams, no movement, then got up just before sunrise. I found a lawyer that morning. Didn't call Megan. Didn't leave a note. I wasn't warning her. I wasn't giving her a chance to get ahead of it. I wanted her to feel the ground shift under her feet the same way I had. The lawyer was sharp. A real bastard in a suit. Exactly what I needed. I laid it all out. The texts, the hotel visits, everything. I wasn't interested in fighting for the house or the car or the furniture we picked out together. I just wanted out. Clean. Fast. Brutal. He asked if I had proof. I showed him screenshots I'd taken before I left. He nodded, said it would be more than enough. We filed that afternoon. On the way back to the motel, I stopped at a coffee shop we used to go to together. Ordered black coffee. Sat by the window. Watched people live their lives. Laugh. Hold hands. Take phone calls. For the first time in a long time, I felt separate from it all. Like the glass between me and the street wasn't just physical, it was real. Permanent. I stayed at the motel for 3 more days. Megan called. A lot. First, it was casual. Hey, where are you? Are you okay? Then it got worried. I'm getting scared. Please call me. Then angry. If you think you can just disappear and make me feel guilty, you're out of your mind. I didn't answer any of them. Let her sit in the silence she created. Finally, on the 4th day, I drove home. Pulled into the driveway like it was any other Tuesday. House looked the same. Her car was parked out front. I walked through the front door and found her sitting at the kitchen table, still in her work clothes, a half-eaten salad in front of her. She looked up, startled. Eyes red. Sleepless. Gavin, she breathed. First time she used my name in a while. Hey, I said, setting my keys on the counter. Where the hell have you been? I shrugged. Needed some space. You can't just disappear like that, she snapped, standing up. I thought you were hurt, or worse. I stared at her. Let her spin the panic. Let her twist. Then I dropped the manila envelope onto the table between us. She stared at it like it might bite her. What's that? She asked, her voice cracking. Divorce papers, I said calmly. For a second, she didn't move. Didn't breathe. Just stared at the envelope like if she waited long enough, it would disappear. Finally, she shook her head. You're overreacting, she said, stepping toward me, palms up like she could shove the words back into my mouth. We can fix this. There's nothing left to fix. It was a mistake, she cried. It didn't mean anything. I laughed then. A short, sharp sound. Didn't mean anything? You're sleeping with someone else behind my back, and it didn't mean anything? Tears welled in her eyes. Big, messy tears. I didn't flinch. You don't just trip and fall into someone else's bed, Megan. She opened her mouth. Closed it. Opened it again. Nothing came out. I stepped back, away from her. Sign them, I said. Or don't. I don't give a damn anymore. But either way, I'm done. She covered her mouth with her hands, shaking her head. You're throwing away everything, she whispered. I shook my head slowly. No. You threw it away. I'm just taking out the trash. I grabbed a duffel bag I had packed earlier and walked to the door. She followed, crying now, grabbing at my arm. Please, she whispered. We can start over. We can fix it, Gavin. I pulled free. No. You don't come back from this. Her face crumpled. For a second, I almost saw the girl I fell in love with. But then I remembered the texts. The laughs meant for someone else. The way she looked at him in that hotel parking lot. And just like that, any softness inside me turned to stone. I opened the door. Stepped out into the evening air. She stayed in the doorway, crying. I didn't look back. Not once. The garage door closed behind me with a final, satisfying slam. And for the first time in years, I felt like I could finally breathe without choking on her lies. I didn't crawl into some shitty apartment after I left Megan. I checked into the nicest hotel in the city. Corner suite. Top floor. Floor-to-ceiling windows with a view of the skyline and a king-sized bed so big you could lose yourself in it. Expensive? Yeah. Worth it? Every goddamn penny. The first night there, I stood barefoot by the window, sipping whiskey out of a real glass, watching the city buzz without me. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel trapped. I felt free. The divorce papers were already filed. The damage already done. All that was left now was to live like a man who remembered who the hell he was before she buried him under her bullshit. I bought new clothes. Got a real haircut. Not the cheap $15 trim Megan used to book for me like I was a damn pet. Hit the gym harder than ever. I didn't waste time feeling sorry for myself. I moved fast, sharp, focused. 2 weeks later, I met a woman at the hotel bar. Nothing serious. Nothing complicated. She smiled at me the way Megan used to before she got bored. And that night, for the first time in a long time, I didn't think about Megan at all. No guilt. No second-guessing. Just two adults doing what they wanted without lying about it. When I woke up the next morning, the woman was still asleep, tangled in the hotel sheets. I stood by the window again, looking out at the city, feeling a strange, solid kind of peace settle over me. Megan was behind me. The life we built was behind me. And there was no going back. But that didn't stop her from trying. The first message came 2 days after the divorce papers landed on her doorstep. Can we talk? Please. I didn't answer. The next night, I came back to the hotel to find her sitting in the lobby. Tired eyes. Makeup smudged. Clutching a coffee like it could hold her together. Gavin, she said, standing up so fast she nearly knocked the cup over. Please. Just give me 5 minutes. I kept walking. Straight past her. She grabbed my arm. I messed up, she said, voice cracking. I know I did. But we can fix it. We can go back. I looked her dead in the eyes. You think I'm coming back to you after you threw me away for some side piece? Tears welled up fast. He's gone, she said, desperate now. He wasn't anything. I was stupid. I was lonely. You were a liar, I said, pulling my arm free. You don't miss me. You miss not being alone. She shook her head frantically. No. I miss you. I miss us. A small, bitter smile touched my mouth. There is no us. She tried again. I'll do anything, she whispered. I'll cut him off. I'll go to therapy. I'll do whatever you want. Just don't walk away. I leaned in slightly, voice low so only she could hear. You already walked away the night you climbed into his bed. She broke then, shoulders shaking. Ugly crying right there in the lobby while people pretended not to stare. I left her standing there. Didn't look back. I went straight to the elevator, rode it up to my suite, poured myself a drink, and opened the balcony doors to let the night air in. And I realized something simple and sharp. She lost me the second she made me her second choice. And there's no coming back from that. Not for her. Not for us. Not ever. The divorce finalized fast after that. She tried reaching out again, emails, texts, even showed up at my work once. I ignored it all. Blocked her number. Blocked her email. Erased every trace of her from my life like scrubbing dirt off a floor. Meanwhile, I kept living. Traveling. Meeting new people. Finding pieces of myself she thought she had broken for good. And you know what? It felt better than I thought it would. Not perfect. Not movie scene happy. But real. And that's worth more than anything she could ever offer me now. Megan became a ghost. A lesson. A reminder that loving someone doesn't mean you let them destroy you. If you asked her today, she'd probably tell you she lost the best thing she ever had. And for once, she'd be telling the truth. But it doesn't matter. I'm not her best thing anymore. I'm my own. And that's the only revenge I ever needed.